Do I have permission to put you on camera?
Yes, madam.
What's up, y'all? I don't know what day this is of Vlogtober, but hey, welcome back. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell
so you can be notified.
I wanted to talk about my favorite comedian of all time.
Oh,
Dave Chappelle.
Oh Lord, I ain't want no parts of this video.
No, what I want to talk about specifically is what has been circulating. So a lot of people, if you guys have not watched The Closer, it was the last of a string of specials, stand-up specials that he did for Netflix. And he's been getting, a lot of flack, and people have been wanting to cancel him about his comments or his jokes in The Closer. So I felt like we could talk about it a little bit because we are, members of the LGBTQ plus community. So what has been happening is a lot of people have been talking about the special, but they actually haven't watched the special.
Mm-hmm.
So I will ask you, were you offended with what you saw of the special? Because you were kind of in and out as well when I was watching it yesterday. Were you offended by anything, or would you? I'll tell you my opinion after you tell me if you were offended.
I mean, I was in and out of the viewing of that, but some stuff I don't comprehend Dave Chappelle jokes. Sometimes it's a little above my head. I'm more like a Mike Epps. What's my other guy?
We not talking about none of them. Were you offended or not?
Money Mike. So I wasn't offended. I probably would have been offended years ago, but that's the type of work that they do. They are comedians. Most of them are just making jokes, and some are just telling their experience the way it is, and it just so happens that it makes people laugh. So I wasn't offended. And when I looked at it, he did have. I mean, he said what he said, and then it was like
he was telling the story.
He was telling the story, and he was like, this whole time I thought like I was a such and such, but really I'm a feminist. Like I support women. Or this happened to this girl I knew, but she was my friend. And I want to do something for her only child, her daughter, when she gets of age. Like I want to give her some money, because da 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 da. So it was still like, at the core, you have to see people at the core. You have to know, you have to feel or know people's heart at the core. So I could see through all that, and it is what it is.
So a girl I went to school with posted on Facebook, and she said, how many of you have seen The Closer? Were you or were you not offended? Please explain why or why not. My response was, I was not offended, but I'm also biased to Dave Chappelle. Like, he is my favorite comedian, so he can almost do no wrong. However, I can understand if anyone was offended by what he said, but I'm able to kind of read through the lines or read between the lines and understand when a story is being told. Like he goes full circle with his, so you can't take a clip, if you will, a punchline, and put that on social media and say he's transphobic. You would actually have to watch the special to read between the lines, and he has a lot of he has a way of telling his jokes and it taking a minute for it to get to the finish, but then when it gets to the finish, it's like, oh, okay, I get what he was saying. But I also know that, I am not a member of the trans community, so I can't tell someone who is facing the life, or is living the life that they're living and the things that they have to face day in and day out. I can't tell them how to feel about it. I don't know how they feel. So I'm not upset with anyone who is offended, but I would be upset with anyone who's offended that didn't actually watch the special. Like, at least watch it before you give an opinion. Or you could be like, I just don't agree with, his point of view. I choose not to watch it. But then you don't have an opinion and you shouldn't be speaking on it. You should only speak on it if you watch it and are able to give an opinion based on what you watch, not an opinion based off of what everybody else said or a little snippet. Because some of the little snippets that people was taking and putting on social media, it sounds bad. And that made me want to go watch it and be like, I know my boy Dave ain't going in like that.
But it's all chopped and screwed. It's not a full story,
right?
And this is all I'm gonna say, because I don't need nobody coming for me. I don't. Look, I feel like every time I'm about to say something, I have to think about how I'm about to say this shit. I have realized certain things don't, even though I'm a good person, I'm for the people, whatever, certain things don't affect me as much because it doesn't apply to me. Point blank period. It doesn't apply to me. Yes, I'm from the LGBTQ community, but I'm not a trans. That was, from my understanding, the big thing about...
Yeah, they say he's transphobic.
Yeah, this whole stand-up was more centered around trans or whatever. So I'm not from that, so I'm not going to be as sensitive to that. At some points I'd be like, oh, he could have been wrong, or I could think he wrong, or I could see how other people may be sensitive to it, whether they trans or not, but I'm not. Like, certain things I just can't relate to.
Yeah. Point
blank period. I always try to put the biggest obstacle that people of my kind have had to overcome, which is like slavery and segregation. I always try to think, well, if a comedian was talking about that, how would I feel? I will be sort of sensitive to it because we're not that far from that type of thing, but it still doesn't.
Well, if a white comedian, because if a black comedian,
I'm just saying comedian because it doesn't really matter to me who's saying it. It's how it makes me feel. But even if it was a white comedian, it's like, it's a certain level of effect of effect that it has on me. Like, I don't know. It's just like, if they was talking about gays or lesbians, it's just which like, he does. Yeah, which he definitely does. It's levels to everything. So it's just like, I take every scenario case by case, every event case by case, and it depends on how it makes me feel. That's probably why I don't really listen to Dave Chappelle, because it's one of the things is so it gets a reaction out of me, one way or the other, good or bad. And sometimes that shit just go over my head. Like, some of the stuff that he talks about, I cannot identify with. Like, I just don't comprehend it, so I don't care to watch it.
Well, Dave Chappelle is brilliant. He's very educated. He's very knowledgeable, and he's lived a lot of years to be able to talk about a lot of different things. He's lived through the crack era and all of that good stuff. He's lived grew up in a white community, but was probably one of the only black kids. So he grew up a little bit different, and he grew up not privileged, but I'm just gonna stick with different. He grew up different.
Yeah.
But he's extremely smart, and from even back during Dave Chappelle show, and my best friend Retta knows this, like, that was my favorite show ever. But his form of satire, his form of comedy is almost intellectual. Like, it is not like your mama joke boom, punchline. It's like you got to think. You have to think about what is it. It's like a play on words. It's like listening to Lil Wayne rap and trying to decipher. Like this has 3 different meanings, and each meaning, fits that sentence.
It's a double tundra section.
Double entendre.
I just thought of that shit. Like,
is that even right, y'all?
A double tundra.
It's double entendre, but I don't know if that is what it is. But if it is, good word. But his a lot of times his wordplay with his jokes, it can mean 3 different things, and each purpose or each meaning fits the same joke. That takes a lot of skill. That takes a lot of time and a lot of study. And sometimes it targets different levels of people in different places differently. So I may get the joke one way, Shay may get the joke completely different, but the joke means both things, but they're both different, if that makes sense. And I think that's what I've always liked about Dave Chappelle, is that his joke wasn't just a one-liner. It could mean a lot of different things. But with that being said, I get that it comes off raw. Like he had the Chappelle Show and quit the Chappelle Show because that network loved and enjoyed him blackfacing and picking at black people and talking down on black people. They thought it was funny that they had a black guy who was funny as shit, who made jokes about racism, who made jokes about slavery, who made jokes about segregation and the perception of black people. But as soon as he threw in LGBT, it was like, oh hell no, you can't talk about that. Like, you could talk about this, but you can't talk about that. And he was like, but why? And he said that in one of his specials. I don't remember, but if I do think about it, I will put the title of it, because it's one of his Netflix specials. And he basically was talking, I think it was Sticks and Stones, but he's always talked about, in my opinion, he's always talked about how he's not homophobic or transphobic. And in this special, The Closer, he said that he's actually jealous or envious of our community, because he feels like our community has made several strides in a shorter time frame than black people have been able to do in over 400 years. So it's like he has a certain level of respect, if you will, but he's a comedian, so he's still going to use his life experiences and make them into jokes.
Yeah. But
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, the point, something you just said is that, you know, he commends us for making strides in a short period of time than the black population. I also feel because the blacks only had the blacks. When it comes to sexuality and identity, that applies to all people. So you have more white people or more ethnicities backing up this change, backing up the minority.
He also said that in the special. He also said that
it ain't.
He gave us a joke, and then he gave us a reason why his joke, why his point of view on the joke is not homophobic or transphobic. So he said a lot of things, and then he went back to say it. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong if you've seen it, but he would go back and say, like, if I'm at a rally or whatever, or we at a pride march or whatever, let me not say rally, child, that might trigger something. But you know, and there's a group of homosexuals, whether it be gay, trans, lesbian, whatever, you know, we're at a rally and it's a mixed group. It's black and white, it's, you know, Spanish, you know, whatever. And something happens and they're targeting the black guy. It's like, you're not, are you going to be willing to put your color or their color to the side? And I know I'm saying this, I'm summarizing this, y'all. I'm summarizing it. It's not exactly what he said, but this was how I understood it. But he basically said, like, there would still be a situation, or there could still potentially be a situation in which the color is going to trump your sexuality. Basically, that's the gist of it. If I can find the clip and not get copyrighted for it, or if you know what I'm talking about,
you definitely get copyrighted for it.
I feel like at any point, it doesn't matter if I'm best friends with, you know, a Caucasian woman and we're both lesbians. If at any point something that's just the nature of where we are from, what our country is built upon, they're just gonna see me different than they see her.
Hey, did you go pick up those doors? Okay, because they called me. Alright, it's Home Depot.
All right, y'all, so we had to take a quick little break. My bad. But I want to know what you guys think. Like, genuinely, I'm interested because I know both me and Shay got into like a little bit of a debate last night about her point of view on something, and I'm not gonna share that because it's her opinion, but it's not a fact-based opinion. So I don't want it to, you know, start a riot. But we talked about some things where we had to basically educate each other, and I felt like it was an opportunity for me to educate her on something. But it was like she was saying at the beginning of the video, it's not something that she can really identify with, so it's hard for her to mentally grasp it. And that's okay, because I feel like that's where we balance each other out. You know, there are a lot of things that Shay has kind of been in her own little bubble with certain things, and now that we're out and experiencing the world more, there's just a little bit more of additional education that needs to happen. So, you know, that's where we are. But I am genuinely you know, intrigued. I do want to know you all's opinion on the special. Like, I want to know what you guys think about it. I want to know, you know, were you offended? Did it hurt your feelings in any way? Did it cause any, you know, triggering? Did it feel any type of way inside? You know, do you rock with Dave Chappelle? You know, he started off talking about the baby, which I felt like was a slightly, I want to say completely different scenario, because I felt like the baby was kind of putting out some misinformation in regards to gay people and HIV. So I thought that was a little bit different.
Yeah, the only thing he said about the baby was just that he can understand why people were upset. And he said I think if I'm not, you know, if I'm saying it right, I think he said he felt the baby was wrong for what he said. But he said, but I also understand who the baby is, and he's like a radical. Like he says shit, he does shit, he doesn't think about shit. That's just like, it doesn't surprise him, I guess he was saying, coming from him, but that doesn't excuse that it was wrong. So
don't fly in this damn car.
Well, put the window up.
I can't because the thing is off. Shit. Yeah, but I don't really want to, you know, get too deep into it. I really wanted to just kind of speak my piece, say, as a member of the LGBT community, I don't feel offended. But like I said at the beginning, I am also biased to Mr. Chappelle. So, you know, I'm open for dialogue. The comment section is open. You know, you guys let us know how you feel. I also stated, you know, that I'm also not trans, so I can't tell these people to be or not be offended by the comments that were made. So I'm not upset in any way, shape, or form with, you know, that piece of the community. I don't feel like they should be isolated. I feel like we're all a community, and ultimately we should, you know, just support however they feel, and not, you know, chastise or criticize them for feeling away if they do feel away. And if you are not offended, you know, trans people, you have to, you know, respect that, you know, a gay man may not have been offended. That's just their opinion, and they're entitled to it, just like, you know, you are entitled to yours. We all are entitled to have an opinion.
Ooh.
But I will say,
I want to hit him so bad because he was about to fucking bust his ass.
I will say, please form your own opinion. Don't go off of what social media is saying. You know, watch it or don't watch it, but, you know, just be mindful of is it semantics?
Yeah.
Anyway, do you have anything else? I think I'm done. I kind of got it off my chest. I ain't got nothing
to say about nothing.
All right, y'all. She ain't got nothing to say about nothing. Oh, the honeycomb Squid Game challenge is coming soon. I don't know when, but we will do it soon. And I'll take y'all with me going to look for the stuff for it and all of that good stuff. So we'll see you guys next time. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.